Last week I caused uproar when I explained that you would be found at fault for hitting the rear of a car if that driver accidentally slammed on their brake without intent or their ADAS was to activate an emergency brake. So what's the liability for this collision then? My viewer was driving along the road when they saw a pedestrian step out from behind a van that was travelling in the opposite direction. They slowed to a stop to allow that pedestrian to cross the road when the driver of a van that was travelling behind them hits the rear of their vehicle. So who was at fault for this one then? Everybody that said that the camera vehicle was responsible for hitting the brakes last week will surely be blaming the camera car for this collision for stopping to allow the pedestrian to cross the road. Or is the van driver behind at fault? Indeed, the van driver behind is at fault. If a vehicle is following another vehicle and the front vehicle brakes, the rear vehicle should always be able to stop without hitting the vehicle in front of them. In this situation, my viewer wasn't to know whether that pedestrian would continue to cross the road or halt in the middle, so the safest thing to do would be to slow to a stop to allow them to finish crossing the road. There should always be a space in front of your vehicle that you can see to be clear that allows you time to think, apply the brakes and come to a stop without hitting anything or anyone. If that space is occupied by another vehicle, then you're travelling too closely. If you're on a bend and you can't see that far ahead, then you're driving too fast. It's as simple as that really. Liability can change for hitting the rear collision on a couple of occasions, the first being if you can prove intent to stop needlessly either due to road rage or to induce a collision. However, if it was to induce a collision or to stop needlessly because of road rage, there is a precedent-setting case law where the front vehicle admitted the intent and the claim was still settled 60-40 in their favour because you should always be maintaining a safe braking distance. The other situation is if you can prove that somebody moved into your path or your lane and then applied the brakes, thus reducing your safe braking distance, which results in a collision. If you can prove that somebody moved into your path, then that should see the liability be settled in your favour. I'll have a video on how having a dashcam can secure liability in your favour rather than it go in fault or split liability coming within the next week or so. Lovely jubbly, sound as a pound.